Hi, in this video I want to discuss happiness and ignorance and being happy and being stupid and how a lot of these things can be correlated. Obviously, we know ignorance is bliss. All those basic cliches and um, platitudes that you hear. Happiness is a state of mind. Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss based on the happiness. If you're happy, the things that can lead to happiness can obviously be associated with stupid decisions that can be made. You get happy, but obviously being happy can be almost a blindfold in many ways. Looking at things for what they are, obviously, looking at things and being irrational, obviously, these happiness and these feelings, these sensations that we have, generally speaking, can be attributed to an irrational sense of a reaction that's based off of a significant value, objective value that's existing, like anything else. Objective things happen, and then there's an objective value that's even if we can't put a number on it, there's an objective value that exists that even though we don't see the numbers coming out, as if you're being attacked by something and you're playing a video game or something, you can see the number coming out. Even if that number may not be true, it's still a number that came out. It's still an interaction that was had, and it's still something that's being causing an interaction. It's still something that's existing. But happy, stupid, happy. A lot of times ignorance can lead to these kinds of things. And I suppose in a way, it's a false equivalency that I may have made in this when it comes to the idea of ignorance means happy. Generally speaking, the more you know, the less happy you are. The more cynical you can get, the more you've been through something, the more like only a matter of time before something bad happens. And since it's a zero-sum game, the more you do it, the more you're going to be experiencing more negative, and the more you're going to realize that this game isn't something to be happy about. And even if it's fine for you, a psychological state of reaction based on understanding the fact that things can happen horribly can be enough to make you an unhappy person. And I think the happier you are, it can lead into a cycle. I think that's another point I want to make is happy leads to stupidity, leading to happiness. And it's a cycle that sometimes can be hard to get out of. Like any other addiction, these addictions, like I mentioned before, can be a driving mechanism and addiction that we're having. You're addicted to happy, but I think we all like to be happy from time to time, but in the right places at the right times. But obviously, we can't choose that. We can be happy. It's a state of mind. Reacting is another way of looking at it. We react certain ways. Just because we're reacting doesn't mean we're in a certain state of mind. But the reactions, it's about keeping your reactions appropriate, even if you are feeling kind of hot and heavy or happy inside. Um, but a lot of this a lot of this can be attributed to ignorance, being ignorant of a certain thing. Um, Ignorance obviously doesn't always mean you're happy because ignorance can lead to a lot of self-destruction. If you don't realize what's going on, you can keep end up causing harm, but you don't even realize where it's coming from. Um, but almost like expecting that you're gonna have 3-second memory in reaction to a lot of these things. But no, that's not always the case. It's not always the case. It's generally speaking never the case. But yes, ignorance can be self-destructive, but it's something we have to fix. But once you fix it, you realize this game isn't really what it's cut out to be. It's a bunch of manipulations and a bunch of jack in the boxes, a bunch of bad surprises. Jack in the boxes with a bunch of bombs ready to explode in your face. A lot of negativity. Only negativity and only variable amounts of negativity that you can experience. There's nothing else to experience here. Um, it's only a matter of reducing the harm that you're experiencing. But happiness can lead to um, a lot of, like a cycle of addiction, can lead to a lot of negative things, a lot of silly things. Because if you're happy, obviously there's something wrong here. Um, because obviously you're being addicted and you're happy because of an addiction. And that's obviously something that's wrong. Just because we're here doesn't mean it was right. So obviously it can be seen as something that's wrong in that way. But this mechanism could be more easily seen as in this way, or an attribution that can be made that can be seen as happy leads, and ignorance can be seen as the same thing, or any kind of mixture of those two things. Well, that's usually the thing that's usually the attribution that seems to be not a false one, but a fairly significant one. And if you're making the wrong decisions, it can be something that's affecting someone else. If you're ignorant and you're making decisions, it's usually affecting someone else in a negative way. So it's something you have to fix. But the fixing one leads to more harm, at least when you recognize. Only leads to a self-recognition of the harm that exists, because you're not going to fix all the issues, because the issues that you have are the things that you rely on for life being a game that's worth living. But you realize that that issue is just going to make up for it in self. Um, it's almost going to, in a way, it can exacerbate it, but it's in a way of exacerbating it, making it worse. Um, Regardless, I don't think there's really much to say on this subject. I mean, there's only so much to say about that. But anyway, happiness, states of mind, positive states of mind. Something wrong there in its description, but it's intrinsically good when you're avoiding pain, and I suppose you can find a rationalization to be happy, or about a better state of mind when you've eliminated that pain, or you eliminated that tension, only to see another one for another day, unless you're giving mercy. I don't know. But regardless, I think that's all there is to say. So thank you. And until next time.